You just spent $70,000 on a brand new four-wheel drive truck. You paid the taxes. You paid the dealer markup. The title has your name on it. Then winter hits. You stand at your kitchen window with coffee in your hand and press the remote start button on your key fob. The same button you have used 100 times before. Nothing. You press it again. Still nothing. Then you open the manufacturer's app and see the message waiting for you. Your remote services subscription has expired. Your truck is sitting 30 feet away. Fully fueled. Fully functional. Legally yours. And yet a corporation you no longer owe money to has decided you are not allowed to start it remotely anymore. That is not a glitch. That is not an accident. That is the business model. Welcome to the era of software-controlled ownership, where modern trucks are quietly turning into rolling subscription services. And most buyers have no idea it is happening. Today we are exposing exactly what you are really buying when you sign for a modern truck. Who still controls it after you drive away? And why millions of drivers are suddenly rushing back to older analog pickups before this system becomes impossible to escape. Because this is no longer about convenience. It is about control. Right now there is a heating element buried inside your driver's seat. Real hardware. Real copper wiring. Real manufacturing cost. You already paid for it. The truck left the factory with that hardware fully installed. But in a growing number of vehicles, that heated seat is no longer controlled by a physical switch. It is controlled by software. In 2022, BMW launched a subscription program charging drivers monthly fees to unlock heated seats already installed in their own vehicles. Not upgraded seats. Not new hardware. The heating elements were already physically there. BMW simply placed a digital lock on equipment customers had already purchased and charged rent to remove it. The backlash became massive. BMW backed away in several countries. But the real story was bigger than heated seats. Because while those features stay locked, you are still carrying the hardware every mile. You paid for the parts. You paid for the manufacturing. You pay extra fuel costs for the added weight. And then they ask you to pay again every month just to use it. Think about how insane that actually is. Automakers have figured out how to turn ownership into recurring revenue. And most buyers agreed to it without even realizing it, buried deep inside service agreements nobody reads at the dealership. Now let's talk about trucks. Because this is where things get serious. Toyota spent decades building one of the strongest reputations in the industry. Reliable trucks. Long-lasting drivetrains. Vehicles people trusted for work, family, and survival. Which is exactly why what happened next shocked so many owners. Starting in 2018, Toyota tied remote start functionality on many connected vehicles to paid subscriptions. Not navigation. Not emergency services. The actual key fob in your hand. That little plastic remote works using basic radio frequency communication. No satellite. No expensive cloud infrastructure. You press the button. The signal travels a short distance. The truck receives it. The engine starts. Simple. Except now software decides whether your truck is allowed to obey the signal. When the subscription expires, the key fob still works. The receiver still works. The truck still has the capability. The only thing stopping it is a software restriction intentionally placed there. Ford moved in the same direction with connected vehicle services through Ford Pass. The hardware exists. The capability exists. The monthly payment is simply permission. And together Ford and Toyota sell millions of trucks. This is not some tiny experiment. This is the future the auto industry is actively building. Because Wall Street loves subscription revenue. One truck sale makes money once. Monthly subscriptions make money forever. But heated seats and remote start are only the beginning. Mercedes-Benz now offers paid performance upgrades for some electric vehicles. For an annual fee, owners can unlock faster acceleration already built into the vehicle. Read that again carefully. The motor already has the power. The hardware already exists. The customer already paid for the vehicle. The automaker simply software limits the performance, and rents access back to the owner. Imagine buying a V8 truck and discovering the manufacturer locked part of the horsepower behind a yearly payment. That sounds ridiculous today. But 10 years ago, so did paying monthly for heated seats. Now here is where this story stops being annoying and starts becoming dangerous. In 2023, Ford filed a patent describing technology capable of remotely controlling connected vehicles under certain conditions. The patent included the ability to disable features, restrict functionality, limit speed, lock out drivers, and even allow autonomous repossession. Meaning the vehicle could potentially drive itself away. Yes, that is real. Now, to be fair, the stated purpose was recovering vehicles from borrowers who stopped making payments. That is a legitimate problem for lenders. But the technology required to do that creates something much bigger. Because once a company builds the ability to remotely control your truck, that capability exists. A system capable of limiting speed for missed payments can also limit speed for expired services. A system capable of disabling features remotely can disable anything connected to software. And suddenly ownership starts looking very different. You are no longer fully in control of the machine sitting in your driveway. You are borrowing access to features controlled somewhere else. That is exactly why older trucks are exploding in value right now. A clean 2006 Silverado costs more than traditional depreciation models say it should. Old Ford Super Duty trucks keep climbing in price. Classic analog pickups that once seemed outdated are suddenly becoming highly desirable again. Because people are realizing something important. When you buy an older analog truck, the transaction actually ends. No cellular modem reporting to a server. No subscription required to use your own hardware. No software gatekeeper standing between you and your truck. You turn the key. The engine starts. You push the four-wheel drive lever. It engages. You control the machine completely. And in today's market, that level of ownership is becoming rare. Before you buy your next truck, ask questions most buyers never ask. Which features stop working if subscriptions expire? Can the vehicle be remotely disabled? Which functions depend on cloud services? What happens if the manufacturer stops supporting the software entirely? Watch how uncomfortable the answers become. Because the industry is changing fast, and not always in ways that benefit the people buying the vehicles. If you are currently paying monthly fees to use features inside a truck you already own, drop your experience in the comments. And if you believe ownership should still mean ownership, subscribe. Every week we break down the hidden reality behind modern trucks, connected vehicles, and the future of real automotive freedom. We will see you in the next one.